Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings, girl, and fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arrive.
More music variety on Power Ace Radio.
Okay, so hello everybody. Welcome to another super special episode of P.A.R. Meet the Artist. Welcome. My name is Pali. Welcome to Power Ace Radio. We bring in artists from all over the world. But this artist is close to home. Well, the furthest I've actually gone close to home. So if I get my artist to place, you could introduce yourself, tell us your name, tell us what you do. We know you're an artist. You can tell us what you do and tell us where you're from, please.
My name is Aminah. I am 29 years old. I go by the stage name 786, the numbers, Aminah Music. And I was born in Sheffield, but now I live and work in Manchester.
Perfect. Like that. Short and sweet. And might as well say, we'll go take it from the beginning. Where or when and how did your music journey begin?
My father had me quite late on in life. He was 52, and I'm nearly 30 now. And back then, times were different. It was easier to get into certain circles, and my father was a good um, rock soloist. So he played with people like Joe Cocker, and he was from Sheffield, my father, and got really into the music scene there. And my mother was a cellist at school, and they just sent me for lessons, singing and piano lessons when I was 4. And I was classically trained in piano. And I was like concert pianist standard at 17, 18. And on my 15th birthday, my father bought me a guitar. And I love my father, but he didn't have much patience. He taught me like 3 chords. I think he taught me C major, A major, D, and G. And then he was like, "You're on your own, kid." And then I've just taught myself ever since.
Oh, wow. That's really cool. So you were born into music and was encouraged through your time. So yeah, no, this is great. And was there a particular moment when you thought, because they could take the horse to the river, but you can force it to drink water, right? So was there a
Yeah.
particular moment where you're like, "Oh, I want to do music. This is really what I want to do."
Yes, I was probably 15, 16 years old, and I um, was really good at the piano. And those listening from Manchester will know. I never know if it's pronounced Chetham's or Chetham's Music School. I was going to go there on a scholarship to study piano and be a part of an orchestra, but I decided that I didn't want to practice 8, 9, 10 hours a day, and I went more into using a piano as a tool to songwrite rather than a piano to play rather than it being my instrument. So it really switched for me. I went from having piano as my main source of music to using my guitar and my voice and my songwriting more. Um, and I've, tried to play professionally since I was 15 or 16. I think that's when I first went out doing open mics. And then I went to work a lot when I was 18. And when I was 21, I went and lived as a Bedouin for quite a long time. I went on a bit of a spiritual jaunt. And then it was within my spiritual jaunt, um, going off to far flung places, that I thought I really should do music full time, because I was trying to make lots of different things work. I've had a lot of jobs, had a lot of heavy labour jobs, never really knew what I wanted to do. and probably for the past 4 years, I've been working on writing and busking. How we met, busk a lot in the street, and busking is such a great experience. I recommend anyone listening who wants to, you know, develop their repertoire and their audience skills to get out busking. It's a real great tool, I think, to develop as a musician.
Oh, absolutely, because that's and you just never know who you meet. That's how I heard your voice. Like, wow, this is incredible. And it's that vulnerability of it all. I think that's what I admire the most. You don't know who you're going to meet. You don't know what they're going to say. You don't know how they're going to react.
Yeah,
But you just do it anyway. So it's easy when they go, "Oh, yeah, well, it's not easy, but when somebody call you, come and do a gig, and you do that gig, okay, people are expecting you. But this
yeah.
one, you're just there, and there's no barriers, no nothing, no. So yeah, no, thank you for what you do. Music is really, really incredible.
You're welcome. This is my third Christmas, so a couple of Christmases ago, that's when I started going out and playing. And I've just sort of been in that spot where we met outside next at the Printworks. It's kind of become my spot now because at the beginning it was used by a gentleman who beatbox and another lady who does I'm not going to say karaoke because it's not karaoke, but playing backing tracks through a speaker and singing along. But now it's kind of become my spot. I play there probably when the weather's good. Sometimes I play there 7 nights a week.
Oh
Um,
my.
right.
So we'll be there when they put the sports address down so people can go and find it.
Yeah.
um, and you described your music. It's like, okay, you didn't want to be practicing so many hours a day behind the piano. So how would you describe your sound and style now, to someone who's never heard your music before?
I was heavily brought up in like folk circles. Um, so I think at my core, there's a lot of Bob Dylan and Joan Baez influence within me. A lot of soul-seeking artists like Joni Mitchell as well. People that were described as being off the wall. My parents were um, very spiritually interested, looked into a lot of different paths and ways, and I think people listening to me would probably describe me as a pop folk artist, maybe when I'm with my acoustic guitar. A lot of comments that I get is that um, I really change well-known songs into my own style. Some people very kindly say they've been Aminah-fied,
Mm.
um, but I guess if we were to label it, it would definitely go into a folk finger picking, and then but in other senses, sometimes quite ethereal. But then on the flip side, I do electronic music, but with me and my guitar, I guess it's ethereal pop folk, maybe.
Period
If
pop
that's
folk. Ooh. So I guess that's what music is coming to now. This it doesn't quite fit into a genre anymore because there's so many interesting sounds from different bits. When you put it together, it's usually a nice cocktail. So yeah, well done.
thinking.
And your songwriting, do most of it come from life experiences or emotions, storytelling, or just something you've seen somebody else?
They're all in some way a direct experience. Like they're either something that I felt or something that I'm going through or something that I've seen. Kind of my songs, I write them, I guess, quite quickly because they're how I feel. They're like telling the truth, a story of truth, like my own truth. Um, and sometimes that's really euphoric and uplifting, and other things are more sad and more um, retrospective. Um, some are more passionate, some um, delve into darker spaces like anger and jealousy and envy. Um, but I know some songwriters, they, you know, have a vision in their head of like the story or whatever, and then write about it without having directly experienced it. Mine is like I'm within that story, even though I write stories, I kind of see them and really integrate within them. So they kind of always come from, without sounding cliche, always come from my heart, you know? That's where I'd say that my songwriting illuminates.
That's really, really great. And that because that makes you authentic and people can actually relate to it. Because you're not just doing out space. So that's great. Thank you so much. And I suppose my next question would be that what's the most challenging part of the creative process for you?
Being true to yourself. I think there comes a part in everyone's creative journey that involves selling your soul to some degree. And I think that we have to establish healthy boundaries in what that contract looks like. Um, when you want to go into certain arenas or play at certain events. I mean, this is also why I love the freedom of busking. I don't think I would ever stop busking. I hope not, because that's me in my raw form. I'm just stood on the street, not wanting to get anything from it, not having to impress said audience, not having to perform certain songs or be a certain way. It's just like me trying to make people happy and trying to help people through their day. And I think as you move further up the commercial rankings, I think the most difficult thing is staying true to yourself and your values. As you can probably see, there's that way, Bob Marley up here. He always stayed true to himself. He always stayed true to himself. And, even though he became a global phenomenon and global success, he kept himself true at his core. And, miraculously, that was really hugged by the world. But I don't really know many artists these days that are authentically themselves and embraced by society at a certain level in the business, because that's what it is at the end of the day, is the music business. It's such a interesting world, because it's the side of purity and creativity and making beautiful things, and then there is like the business aspect. And the business aspect can have some really um, complex webs to untangle. So yeah, if that answers your question.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You nailed it down. I love the way you break it down as well. Explain your end. Oh, that's great. Thank you so much.
So,
And we've been talking about you busking, and you're also a recording artist, so you've got singles out, and so tell us about your latest project.
so my latest project was actually done in, I think it was done in about half an hour, um, because a friend of mine said, "Did you know that the number one country song is entirely AI generated?" And I was like, "Really? How interesting." Um, so I went on my Spotify and gandered, and it was a good song. I can't like sit and say, it was terrible, and pitchfork at dawn. The manipulation of AI is is incredible. Because it hones on basically the greatest aspects of human intelligence. Everything that's been before was then pinpointed into one aspect, and then out of it can flourish this beautiful music. But it really concerned me that we're heading into such a depth in the digital age that music's going to be playing that isn't from a real person. It's just like from the cloud. I don't know, from the AI cloud, whatever it's called, that you can't go and see them, and the stress it puts on the human race. Like, I'm not going to play my piano or guitar. I'm going to be getting a guitar to sound perfect, and then turning that into an audio file and then playing it out. But it loses the human spirit, the human grace. It's like soul destroying. But I think AI, it gives such a dopamine hit. It gives such a dopamine hit because you have a visual or a sense of something that's essentially perfect, right? In one aspect. If you looked at it from the human aspect, it's completely imperfect because it doesn't have any soul. You know, people like James and Ella Fitzgerald and Aretha Franklin, these black supremacy music beauties, they had soul. That was why it was called soul music, because it beat out of them. And so I said to my friend, I'm really done with looking on Instagram and everything being filled with filters and listening to music and it all been like candy flossed. I'm going to create an album of 10 songs because I'm a cover artist. I mean, I play a lot of my own music, I do a lot of my own music, but sorry, you can probably hear my housemate shuffling around outside the door. I'm on like the ground floor, and technically I'm next to the living room, so sorry if you hear some background noise. I'm going to, because when I post on Instagram anyway, I don't put filters on. I'm just like, I want people to look at something that I put online and know that they're going to get the same thing when they see me. It's not going to be filtered. I'm not going to have like cat ears. I'm not going to be shining, some halo or airbrushed. I try and post things that 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 you will see me exactly for who I am. So I've created an album of 10 songs. Um, I've called it Songs from the Heart. I'm actually just about to make it after I finish talking with you because he's just sent me all the audio files. And they were all done in one take and it was live. And I just went through, did, I think it was 11 songs I did in the end. I just did 11 songs, one take, put them onto an album and sell them because, I want to keep it real. I called my mum and I'm like, I'm going to start a new movement. I'm going to call it Raw. I'm going to call Keep It Real, because music needs to be kept alive. The human race and spirit needs to be kept alive. It's kind of like this weird age that they're wanting to kill the human race and like use AI and robotics to run the world. And it's just like, it just doesn't make any sense, because then it's this, we've all seen like iRobot and War of the Worlds. It just becomes a dystopian future, where it's all run by robots. And it's just like, it's even predicted in these films how that ends, killing off humans, because the human going into like, you know, Christian spirituality. So the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, which in terms of us can be God, the human aspect, which was, Jesus, which is then who was human, and then us, and then the Holy Spirit. But what they're wanting to do is like take the spirit, the in Islam we'd say ruh, the thing that fires you forward and creates things. They wanting to take it away, and that will just give us no experience, no life. So my project is one, putting all the songs onto this CD and putting them out into the world. Two, start and keep it real, because also Paul McCartney has just released a new record and it's just nothing. It's just scratches. And he's made the valid point of this is what music will be if we let AI take over. Now, I'm not going to bash AI completely because honestly, I use it for a lot of things. It saves a lot of time, saves a lot of money, which also saddens me because I don't have the finances or the time to invest into people to create these things, which can now be done on AI. So simple. And as a busker, there's a gentleman that comes up to me, may I say, impoverished, and he uses AI to write songs for him. I think there's something called Suno or Sono that he uses. And he says, I want you to write me a Christmas song. And it writes him a Christmas song. And he's written like 600, 700 songs with this AI feature. So it also has very positive aspects because it allows people to inspire. But I guess like a knife, you can use it for chopping vegetables or stabbing someone. It's like a double sword. So I guess
Absolutely.
forward, um, keeping it real, keep it real.
Real. No, I really like that because that subject alone, it's one that we can talk on for hours.
So,
But as you broke it down, he has his own positive sides, he has his own negative sides. But yeah, one thing that obviously, regardless of how much music you can make with AI, the live performances that would always be the one. So kind of let me not digress too much. So out of the album, which one of them would you say is your favorite and why?
oh, I did a cover of Blackbird, which always reminds me of my father because my father's still alive, but he's nearly 80 now and dropping to pieces, God bless him. Um, but he used to take me to these folk nights in this oldie worldy pub, and it was oldie worldy because it was in this town called Ashover. And Ashover was just like this quaint little village, something that you'd see on a Christmas card, like houses covered in snow with the postbox. And there was this pub called the Old Poets Corner, and you went in and it had this roaring fire, and they'd put like hops, beer hops, all along the ceiling. It was beautiful. They had thick red curtains, and the floor was all cobbled, and um the tables were wooden, and they had like um wine bottles with red candles in. It was so atmospheric, and I guess looking back, I mean, when I was 16, 17, I thought, oh, it's just a bunch of old geezers that love me down the pub. But looking back, they were such accomplished musicians that just for whatever reason hadn't made it and their lives hadn't turned out the way that they thought they would. But they'd all found solace in their instruments and came to this folk club every week to play. Um, and amongst them having beer bellies and getting older and having beards a bit unkept and going bald, they found enthusiasm in teaching me. And I remember this one guy who was called Dave, and he just loved young people. He loved teaching young people about music. And he taught me Blackbird um, by Paul McCartney. If you're being particular, or the Beatles, if you're more, you know, you're more open with your music general history. And so yeah, and that's also it's going to be the first song on the album. Um, that one really it takes me back because it made me appreciate how much those guys in the pub did for me. I didn't realize it at the time. Um, do I think between the ages of like 15 and 20, 22, your brain goes on holiday because then you get older 30 and you think, God, they were amazing experiences. They were amazing experiences. And it was like I had these basically professional musicians at my fingertips, teaching who couldn't play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, um, how to how to make good music. So yeah, I love them. If any of them are listening, I love you and I appreciate. Sorry, I didn't tell you at the time.
Yeah, that's great. Well, and as we're kind of running out of time, actually, could you give us maybe a little a cappella snippet of this beautiful song you've described there? And I think, yeah, we just want to hear what your voice sounds like as well. Well, I have for the viewers that haven't.
Blackbird, want to hear Blackbird?
Please.
Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings, girl, and fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arrive.
Thank you very much. That's great. You have very great voice control. So that's perfect.
Thank you.
And let's cover this bit as to where can people go and find you? Yeah, we know they can find you in Manchester, but socially, where can people go and find you? Do you have a website? What's to
Interweb.
search for?
On the interweb, you can find me at the number 786. So imagine seven eating the number six. It's not like 6 7 like all these young kids are going out these days. So 786 Aminah, which is Arabic. So I'll spell it for you: Aminah, and then music. You'll find that on all platforms: Insta, TikTok, TikTok, uh, Spotify. What else? Bandcamp, all the usual places. If you want to see me in person, I'm always in that spot outside next at the Printworks. I've got a big gig on the 9th of December at the Carlton Club. For anyone near Manchester, the Carlton Club is a famous music venue, and they're having some legal wranglings um, because they're basically the owners of the building are wanting more money from the club. But if the club shuts down, that's another venue that's losing live music. So it's going to be a night raising money for them, basically, to be able to stay open and keep it real with live music.
Oh, nice, nice, nice. Well, we just might be there. That is a great concept. So this is probably just the first part of our interview because there's a lot more questions, but running out of time. And what's one advice that you would give an independent artist trying to find their voice?
Don't let anyone oppress you. Don't let people hurt you and abuse you into being someone that you're not, or to doing something that you don't feel comfortable with. In the famous words of Frank Ocean's mum, be yourself and know that that is good enough. So sing your heart song, even if the whole world is is saying that it's bad or it's wrong or it's upside down, if you love it, God's put that love within you. So stay safe and blossom with it. And I'm going to bring up a verse in the Bible because it came across my path last night, and it's from Isaiah, and it says, "When you think that all hope is lost, God will pave a way for you." Because I think as musicians, we face a lot of rejection, a lot of setbacks. It's a lot to kind of to get through, you know. You want to play at gigs, or you want to support this, or you want to be on the radio, and sometimes it's a lot of like barricades. If anyone's listening and feeling hopeless, then be hopeful and know that you're good enough to get to where you want to go. God wouldn't put such drive and spirit in your heart if he didn't think that he could take you there. So get going.
Wow, 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 wow. Guys, that's mind blowing. Thank you so much for that. It resonates with me. I'm sure it resonates with the listeners as well. And yes, let's just do this quickly. I just want to get in. So this is called a quick fire round, really. So the first question is, what's one song you wish you wrote?
Hot to Go, Chapel Roan. What a brilliant song. Now, I know we're running out of time, so I'm going to try not to go down the rabbit hole that I talk to people about regarding this song. Now, there have been greats. There's been Aretha. There has been Beyonce. There has been Lady Gaga. There's been Bob Dylan, the Beatles, you know, trailblazers of music, Freddie Mercury, Bob Marley. But Chapel Roan did something that has just never been done. She created a song with a dance which has been performed over and over again to thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. Chapel Roan is such an interesting phenomenon when it comes to writing music, because even Taylor Swift, right, who's just done the £1 billion Eras tour, you know, seen millions of people all over the globe night after night, even she, the current queen of pop and legend, has not created a song with a dance performed by people over and over again. That's like prophetic and saint level, because what she's done is she's created a moment where people forget all their problems. They literally forget their problems, and they're just like going, you know, me included, not only at her concerts, in the car, when I busk, when I play that song, people will stop and do this dance, you know, to captivate that many people all at once. Jesus did that. And Jesus said, you will do what I can do and more. She's absolutely, I mean, I know that there was the YMCA, but the YMCA was many years ago. It didn't have the it was done by the village people, wasn't it? They didn't have the platform that Chapel Roan has now. So I'd wish I'd written that song. It's supposed to be quick fire, but that is
it's meant to be quick fire, and we have kind of run out of time. But we definitely will have to come back for a second episode. There is a lot of questions. For now, I would just like to say thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been immense, full of wisdom, full of your stories. You shared so much with us. Yeah, any closing remarks from you?
I'm just happy to be with you. Like, thank you for opening a door for me to spend time with you and listen to you, and I hope it creates all good things for you. I hope all good, beautiful, happy things come your way, and everyone listening as well. I hope everything gets much better for you.
Wishing you the same as well. But yes, so until we meet again, it's been a pleasure. Take care.
Bye, Pally.
Bye.
You're traveling on the airwaves of Power Ace Radio.